Hey everybody, I hope, yeah, it looks like everything is working. I have never been so close to not making it for the live stream. I know we haven't been doing it for very long, but I had to drive downstate. I live in northern Michigan, and I drive downstate to meet somebody to get some stuff for my wife's heels. Anyway, um, I was driving back and realized that this live stream very well could have happened on the side of the road from my phone, but I made it back in time to spare. I think I created the thumbnail and started the the thing like 10 minutes before 3. So anyway, we are here. Um, as far as the weekend assignment goes, I mean, I didn't prepare anything. I planned to, but I didn't. Um, and part of that is because of the trip today, but part of it, whoa, I don't know if anybody's been paying attention to the 90 days of mayhem challenge that I kind of put myself under to do a video every day until 2023. Last night's video did not go live until 11:45 p.m. my time, and that's because for some reason after I recorded the entire video that you saw, and I started to edit it, I found out that the microphone. So I normally use, if you watch my training and you look at like the video or the microphone, normally I wear this head worn microphone. It's a Shure Pack, and it works really well. It's worked well for, I mean, years and years. And it connects to a Scarlett 2i2 audio interface into my computer. It's been working flawlessly for years and years and years. For some reason, it was garbled. And I had actually freshly restarted my computer even. And it was like, you could understand me, but it was really garbly and very annoying. I started editing it anyway. And I even like put a word, like text block in there that said, "I'm so sorry, the audio for some reason is bad." And as I kept going, it annoyed me so bad editing it that I'm like, I can't release this. And so I threw in the towel. And if you watch the video on what even was it? Compression and archiving yesterday, that was a complete second take on the whole thing. I started over from scratch, and I actually used this microphone. So like I had to like stay back away from the Wacom tablet while I was demonstrating, because the reason I wear the head worn microphone is because when I come down here to do stuff, you can't hear. So I don't know. I'm just gonna have to have better mic control skills or something, or figure out why it just stopped working. But oh my goodness. So, how are you? it was a lot of words to throw at y'all at once, but we're here, and I thought of my awesome pun on Andor and Endor as I was making the thumbnail. You can tell if you look at the thumbnail for this video, it's literally the same shirt. I took that picture like 9 minutes ago. So anyway, but we made it. We're here. The live stream almost happened on the side of the road, and that would not have necessarily been a bad thing. So northern Michigan is one of those places that people often go to watch to see the colors, like in the fall, the trees, the colors of the leaves changing. Because if everything works out just right, where it hasn't been terribly windy, we haven't got a lot of pounding rain, the temperature is cold enough to really get all the trees going, sometimes our color displays in the trees are just breathtakingly amazing. And I haven't seen that in a number of years. A lot of times they'll start to turn and then rain will knock all the leaves off so you don't see them, or it's particularly dry, so they'll just go like from green directly to like brown and fall off. But this year, wow, is it amazing. And I didn't even realize it until I was driving home on the expressway, and I found myself just like slack-jawed staring at the trees. So yeah, if you're in the Michigan area, it's a good time right now to just drive on the freeway. I mean, you don't even have to go anywhere specific. Just it's amazing. Anyway, Lewis, what is your laughable news? I'm afraid to click. Looks like you've been an so if you click on the link, I don't know if I can. Let's see. Here, I'll just so this is Lewis's link. Clear his thing. Looks like you've been in a crash. And I'll be honest, a lot of times, so I don't love roller coasters, but there's this one roller coaster. It's at what's the name of the park? Michigan Adventures. Apparently this is the episode where I just talk about Michigan a lot, but Michigan Adventures, and they have a roller coaster, and the claim to fame is that it's made of wood, which sounds like a weird claim to fame, right? But like the whole structure is made of wood, like an old wooden trestle, like train bridge kind of thing. It looks like that. What is it called? The Beast, maybe? It might be called The Beast. But anyway, and Shivering Timbers? Shivering Timbers? Might be Shivering Timbers. The Beast is from Kings Island, I think. Anyway, it makes my brain hurt. It is so bumpy that like it just shakes you like a scrambled egg, and I just hate it. I don't like roller coasters anyway, but that one is just the worst. So anyway, yeah, I could see the watch absolutely thinking that we are in a crash. Back to my face cam. Oh yeah, you can see that's literally the screen that you just saw was the end of me making yesterday's video. I didn't even I didn't even close down the VM. I'm just like, we're done. Wooden roller coaster, one of the safest. They're slow. So yeah, this one is not slow. The one in Michigan Adventures, or if it's slow, it doesn't make a difference because it's so rattly. Like literally, it just rattles. And then there are points where the cart like comes off of the tracks, like it jumps and then comes off the tracks, and I'm sure it's safe, but and then it crashes back down onto the metal tracks, and it's just, oh, it's the worst. I don't like roller coasters anyway. They always give me like a headache right away, and yeah, anyway. So that's me. What else is going on? Let's see, the 90 Days of Mayhem. I think I announced it. Did I announce it last week? Yeah, because today's day 7, right? Yeah, so I announced it last week, and it's going well. It's going to be fun for me to make sure that I produce something every day, although I don't want to do it like again last night. I got to start a little earlier, but it was a busy day. Holy cow. Thankfully, today is this video. I will be posting this video. This is our video today. But did anybody look at the weekend assignment? It was a little bit different. One, because I kind of forgot to post it on Friday, and that's my sincerest apologies there. But it was based on just a little YouTube short or TikTok that I did about stringing two Linux character commands together with either a semicolon or double ampersands. You see people do both things a lot of times, online scripts, and I just explained the difference. And I was surprised that a lot of people didn't realize the difference, or that there was a difference. For some reason, it kind of took off on TikTok. Like it has 20 some thousand views and tons and tons of comments and stuff. And a lot of people were like, whoa, I had no idea that, that there was any difference. I've always done this, or I've always done that because somebody did that. Mason says, I had to look about an hour ago, but I still can't get my head around Bash programming. Yeah, boy, I think I've said it before in the live stream. If I could do things over, I would have taken programming a lot more seriously in my younger years, just because I like being able to create things with programming language, and it just doesn't come natively to me. I have to work really hard. The bash thing was interesting, and I learned about the ampersand thing separately from understanding how bash conditionals work, and I didn't even realize once I knew the difference, I didn't think it through that, oh, it's just a one-line bash conditional. So it's just kind of cool how bash is flexible that way. Manual, hi Sean, here putting on Debian default installer incorporating non-free software. So I should probably be like far more like concerned or upset about things like that. And I get why everybody would think I am. It's not something I'm terribly passionate about. I'm the person who like, I'll install a binary chunk like firmware to get my Wi-Fi card to work, and I'll just be like, oh, this is frustrating, and I'll do it anyway. So the Debian default installer, first of all, I didn't know that that's the case. If that's new, I didn't know, but I'll be honest, I didn't know that they didn't before either. I think the only way it would bother me is if it wasn't made clear, like if they tried to be sneaky, like, oh, we're totally like completely free, and then they snuck something in like that. Um, then I think it's the dishonesty that I wouldn't like. But I, yeah, I don't have a real issue with it. If it makes it so that people can install on their system, cool. Unless there's something creepy about the firmware, like the licensing of the firmware, like says, and now we own your children. I mean that's not cool. But yeah, I'm not as passionate about the free non-free stuff as maybe some might think. What's a real problem with non-free firmware? I don't know. I think it's just the idea of it, right? Um, so yeah. So do you control or the smartphone you carry around everywhere? So to this, I would say if you're my friend Kyle Rankin, yeah, because he is the person who is very passionate about um, free software and having full control over everything. He's the president of Purism, the company Purism, who makes like laptops and stuff. So in his case, he really does. Like they have a smartphone. I don't even know if they sell it or if he just has a prototype, but everything on it is completely open and free, and there's no other firmware. So kudos to Kyle. But anyway, so let's do before I completely lose my train of thought. Let's go to the command line and just kind of show you the coolness of the ampersands and pipe characters. And I think the assignment was to actually expand on the ampersand thing. And of course I was leaning towards look at the pipe symbols, because pipe symbol also works to string two characters together, but in kind of the opposite way. So let's go over here. Also, this video camera has been really weird and wonky. So it'll like, I don't know if you see it, but it's like really jerky. I really don't know what's going on with this computer. I installed Sync Thing on it because I was working on the Hugo stuff and I wanted to sync a directory. I don't know if the Sync Thing daemon is causing all these issues on my computer, but it has been a bad day yesterday and day today as far as Sean's computer goes. But anyway, hopefully my audio's good. I think somebody would have said something if my audio's not good. But basically, I'm going to clear the screen here. Basically, the premise of the YouTube short, if you haven't seen it, is that a lot of times you'll see people string two commands together, usually something like apt-get update, and then like either a semicolon or ampersand, and then apt-get upgrade. We're going to do it just with ls because it's a little bit easier to see. So if we do ls and then we put a semicolon and then we do ls, it'll just do it twice, right? It's just going to complete one and then complete the other. If we do ls and then ampersand ls, it does the exact same thing. So it seems like they're doing the same thing, but they're really not. What's actually happening is this is a conditional statement. It runs the first ls, and then if that is successful, it will run the second ls. Okay, and so by successful, it means it has an exit code of 0, right? 0 means it's successful. Yeah, and so as long as ls doesn't have an error, like an error code when it quits, then it will execute the next one. If we were to do pipe symbol, that's the OR construct for conditionals, and then we do ls. Now it's just going to do one, because what that is saying is if the first one fails, then do this, right? And you can actually string them together even more. We could say, well, first of all, let's demonstrate them working that way. So ls Bob, there's nothing Bob, so that should give us an error. And then ampersand ls. So this should give us one ls output, or it should give us an error and then not do the second ls. Exactly. Okay, so if we were to do ls Bob semicolon ls, it would give us the error and then it would just do the second one. Okay. In the case of the pipe symbol, so we could do ls Bob, which is going to be an error because there's no Bob, and then pipe symbol ls. Now we should get the error, and because there was an error, it should do the ls afterwards. And look at that, it did. Okay, we can also string them together. So Are you still, is everybody still with me? I haven't missed comments. Okay, I think so. Shane B, I don't think you've missed anything significant. We're just going over the weekend assignment, like how the ampersands work, and then the two pipe symbols are kind of the opposite of that. Whereas if the first one fails, then it will run the second one. But if the first one is successful, it won't run the second one. Okay, so let's do something a little more easy to see. So ls Bob should give us an error. And so here, I'm going to do this. ls will not give us an error. And so if it is successful, then it will run this command, echo, yay. Now we can do another one. We could also then do a pipe symbol where pipe symbol, where if ls fails, then it will do this one. So this is an if then else, right? If ls is successful, then echo yay, else do whatever we do here. And we're going to say echo boo. So ls running by itself should succeed. So what we should see is ls, meaning the contents of this folder, and then it should say yay. Let's see. It succeeded. Now, if we were to do that same thing, but have the first thing be an error, so again, ls Bob, which will give us an error because there's nothing in this directory called Bob. Now it should give us an error, and then it should say boo, but we shouldn't see the word yay at all. Boom. Hopefully that makes sense. And you don't have to string them together, but that's kind of like the ultimate form of how the ampersands are working, what's actually going on. If the first one is successful, then do this. And then if we just do the pipe symbols, if this fails, then do this. And of course you can string them all together so that in the case of a success, it does this one. In the case of a failure, it does that one. So I guess this would be the ultimate answer to our weekend assignment is you can string them both together and it will give you the proper result. You're just basically making an if then else statement as a one-liner on the bash command line terminal. Hopefully that makes sense. I'll look at the comments here, see if anybody's like, whoa, Sean, what are you doing? Sean, your microphone quit. I can't hear you. No, just kidding. Which institution has more financial resources to help the civil developer build useful tools for the cyber piece under the GPL license? And I have absolutely no idea. I have absolutely no idea. If anybody has any thoughts on that, or if you want to post that in our Discord and perhaps somebody will have some insight, because I honestly don't know. Mason never knew you could use semicolon, always use the ampersand. And you know what, for me, I never really thought about it much. And I looked in like a bunch of my cron tabs and stuff where like I'll string things together in a cron tab statement. I realized that sometimes I used ampersands, sometimes I used the semicolon, and I didn't know why, shamefully. And so then I Googled it and I was like, holy cow, it's actually doing something. It's not just like this, like doing the same exact thing. And then after a while I realized, wait a minute, ampersand is an if then construct. And so, yeah, then it's just fascinating that that's all is happening on the command line is an if then else statement. So it's kind of cool. Mason just started looking at WA3. This was WA4, right? So yeah, okay. I think I updated so that the assignment answer is linked. I honestly don't remember what we did last week, but whatever we did, I think I linked. So hopefully that link on the bottom of weekend assignment 3 is a valid link that will take you to whatever we came up with. Oh, is that the 5 different ways to do stuff? I think I just copy and pasted my script so you can look at that in the assignment. Thank you, Ed. I appreciate that. Yeah, the skills. So sometimes the skills I learn on the fly, I'm like, oh, gotta share this. This is cool. No, Shaney, and I probably answered this. Yeah, the semicolon, it doesn't test anything. The semicolon is just stringing them together. Whether the first one fails or doesn't fail, it's just going to move on to the next one. So yeah, semicolons don't do any testing at all. They just separate things. And then, yeah, the double pipe symbol will execute the second one if the first one failed. So hopefully, and I'm sure that you did that before I was talking, so I'm sure that you got that. Is the order with the pipe symbols always to check? Yeah, because the very first, it checks the first one and then moves on. And you can nest them, but you have to like you get really like, whoa, what is okay? Because and I'm not going to try to go through nesting them, but you can actually nest them inside of it. Because if you think about an if then statement, you can nest like if this, then if this, then if this, then if this. So yeah, it gets complicated. But when you know what they're actually doing, it's not too horribly difficult. Um, oh, okay. Yeah. So hopefully I straighten that out. And Lewis explained it perfectly there that it's a conditional, and the pipe symbol is, I mean, also a conditional, but it's the or part of that. And Lewis probably linked to something. But anyway, to the bash thing. If you see that, I tried to explain the whole thing in under 60 seconds on the YouTube short this past week, and my goodness, was that hard. If you look at the video, it is edited so tight. I'm like, because it like cuts out every half a breath I take trying to get it into 60 seconds. So at the end, I was going to try to explain like the or part, but I just didn't have time. I just had to cut that out. So anyway. That's it. That's our assignment. I'm trying to think of other assignments to do. And like I said, the challenging part is I don't want to try to assign something that I haven't taught like the concepts on, but we might change, right? Might do something and say, okay, Google this because it's worth learning. Like I was thinking, weekend assignment, we could also do like weekend projects, but I got to come up with something and where like people do the weekend project assignment, weekend assignment, and like take a picture and like post a picture in the, I don't know, the Discord channel. I don't think you can post pictures in a YouTube chat. So have to be like somewhere like the Discord server. But anyway, yeah, I want to come up with fun stuff because it really is fun for me. And please don't think that me missing the Friday assignment posting was because I don't enjoy doing it or don't want to do it anymore. It's just because the 90 days of mayhem kind of was dominating my thought process all week. And I'm like, oh crap. I actually did remember it was like 11 p.m. on Friday night and I was in bed and I was like, this is going to have to wait until tomorrow. So anyway, okay. And so now this is interesting. Now ampersand, just a single ampersand though, Lewis. Now, and maybe, I mean, it's possible that my brain's not thinking right, but doesn't that just background a process? I mean, isn't that how you put a process in the background? Like a single ampersand? And then it's, in the background, you type FG to get it back in the foreground. That sort of a thing. Yeah, anyway, just curious. Mason, did you have the Nerdlings Teddy made, or was your logo made from the Teddy? Which came first? Okay, now I'm concerned, Mason. I'm not sure. Do you mean Spot? Do you mean Spot, my plushie, the Spot plushie? Is that what you're talking about, Mason? No, yeah, Spot absolutely is completely separate I mean, he existed before I even thought Nerdlings was a fun idea. He's just from my comic. He's from mybigroundworld.com. And he's the most lovable character. I did have it custom made though. So if you go, I don't remember the name of the website, stuffedanimals.com, that's not it. It's something like that. But if you submit a bunch of drawings, they will, for a fee, it was kind of pricey and kind of spendy, they will design a prototype and then like send you pictures of the prototype. And then you like say, well, I don't really like this and I don't like this, but I like this. And then they will keep changing like their prototype and send you more pictures until you finally approve it. And then you can order the final like product, but you have to order. I mean, you don't have to order in bulk. There's probably a minimum, but the more you order, the cheaper they are. Well, I couldn't afford to order a bunch of them. And it's not like make on demand, right? They make a whole batch of them. But like the first version that they showed me, his legs were super long and like weird and floppy, and that's not how Spot is. What the funny part is, and if you don't watch my comic, or if you don't read my comic, that's okay. But the funny thing is when I draw Spot, and let's see if I mean he's literally on my shirt here. Let me clear the comment. So well, you can't see it on this shirt. Okay, so if you look, do you see this like little line right there? That line that kind of like I draw a circle and then I kind of overdraw it. That was just how I drew the circle. Well, when I was making the plushie, all of a sudden that had to be a thing. And suddenly, like long after the fact, it became his ears when looked at from the side. Um, so I'm like, so yeah, I decided that the line that I overdraw was his ears, and so his ears didn't exist as a concept until I was making the plushie, and I'm like, I guess those are his ears, and so yeah, and like the ears were all weird and sticking up, and so like I had them make it shorter and tack it down, and his eyeballs were like, do you know in SpongeBob, Mr. Krabs' eyes, where they're like these big like tubes, and like that's how his eyes were at first. It was really bizarre. This was what I thought was the final. This is the approved one, and they'll send me the final thing that they make. And the only difference, so this is the original prototype that they sent me, and his Spot's spot, which exists on Spot. Um, it's not outlined in black, and the final product that I ordered is. So that's what this is, a unique one. That's the prototype that I had made, and it's right there. So anyway, that's the story of how Spot got ears and why he exists. So anyway, thank you for sharing the link to My Big Round World. He's also on Twitter, and ever since I had COVID, I haven't been able to do the comic as often as I want, but that's going to change. Dang nabbit. Let's see, HTTPS Snarko Discord. So that's a link to the Discord server, and I would encourage you to go there. Obviously, it's a Discord server that I'm not a good Discord server admin. I don't do all the things I'm supposed to do correctly, but everybody there is friendly. So nonetheless, and if you're a Patreon supporter, you get like a special color and a special ranking if you connect your accounts. So that's cool. Oh, is your picture still on the front page? Is that the last time I did a comic? Oh my goodness. It is. Wait, is that the last time I did a comic? I thought I did a comic after that. Maybe I didn't. But yes, that is a picture that Lewis took. It's a beach in Portugal. Okay, now I'm like twitter.com/my big round world. I did. I made another comic that I didn't put on the main website. Well, that's something. I'll have to do that. It was back on September 13th, but anyway, interesting. I am not an artist. That should be completely clear if you've looked at the comic, but I really enjoy drawing it. It's cathartic. So anyway, yeah, that's the comic. It's interesting that people have no idea like about my comic, and that was I didn't miss a day for like over a year. There's like hundreds of comics in the back catalog there. So anyway, if you've seen my videos, you probably see Spot appear in some of the just like in some of the slides and stuff, and it's just because I copy and paste them there. So oh, I didn't know I was scrolling. I thought I was caught up on comments, and then they scrolled down. So let's see. Zental. Oh, this is interesting. Found a cool Active Directory replacement for Linux, Windows, and Mac a while ago. So now, does this take the place of Active Directory, where like Microsoft clients join it, like a Samba thing, or is this like just a whole different like authentication suite kind of thing? I'm curious what exactly it is. I mean, I could Google it, but you did one after, yeah. New to Sean's world, circling all the time. Yeah, it's a scary world to be a part of, but no, I'm glad you're here too. We use IPA in Active Directory for Linux. So like beer, like you drink beer and then connect your Linux to Active Directory. Is that? My apologies. These are the jokes. These and the AndOr/Endor Ewok joke from the title. The basic thing is Active Directory, not really Samba. Cool. All right. What else is going on? So Mason says it sounds horrible connecting Linux to Active Directory, and I agree with you in concept. When I was working at a school district, it would have been so nice to be able to cleanly connect Linux clients to an Active Directory, especially when other things depend on Active Directory for authentication and integration with apps and stuff. it was a pain to do that otherwise. And I had to write some crazy scripts to try to get like authentication. Like when somebody changed their password, I had to change it on in Samba and maybe Active Directory. I blocked it out apparently. But it's just yeah, it can be a real chore. I used to use anybody familiar with NIS for authentication? That's what I used for years and years and years on Linux. I used NIS, which is like Yellow Pages, YP serve. That was, it worked actually really, really well. Problem situation to solve for the homework. Yeah, so that we talked about that too a little bit. And I do, in fact, originally, like I think the very first one was like, I need to know the IP range from this particular branch of nerdlings.net company or whatever. It is coming up with those story problems, if you will, and to have it useful. I've been trying to pay attention on my day-to-day like activities. Like, okay, what would be a good assignment? Like I have to solve a problem. Would this be something I could recreate and make it an assignment? And the more I think about that as I go through my day-to-day day job, I hope that they're going to continue to be good and effective. That's my hope anyway. How I shared network accounts on Linux, if not AD. Yeah, that's what I used to do is NIS. And NIS just has it uses just, I don't even know if it's available anymore. I'm dating myself now. This is like 15 years ago. And even then it was old technology, but basically it just takes the local Linux user like password database and it allows it to be shared across the network, and you can authenticate off of a remote YP server or an NIS server. And that's what I did for all of our like thin clients and all of our everything. All of the authentication was based on that central Yellow Page server, and that's how stuff was done. In fact, I wanted to switch to LDAP. There was kind of newish integration features back then, just generic LDAP, but it wasn't as user-friendly with a lot of other tools to integrate yet. And then I left the district, so I never did. I'm positive they're using AD now, pretty sure anyway. Over platform, thanks for your Linux videos. Taking the new CompTIA Linux exam while following your videos. Oh, awesome. Yeah. And it did rev not long ago. That's actually what sparked me starting to create the series. And I know the series is going so slow, and I sincerely apologize that it's not further along. Again, I have a day job and it's been so demanding, but the 90 days of mayhem challenge to myself should make it so that videos come out quicker. But yeah, I want to have the Linux Plus course complete while it's still relevant. I don't want it to rev again and then it like be, oh, this is the outdated one that we're just finishing. So anyway, that's my goal, is to get it out as quickly as possible. Like I did the Linux Essentials course. I mean, I pumped that one out really quick because I wanted to have something useful to point folks to. And I want the same thing with the Linux Plus course. What we do after that, I don't know. And I'm also going to have to interject some other videos. Like I've had so much fun with the Hugo static site builder. It is so incredible. That's what, if you go to, just put a link, 90daysofmayhem.com. So if you go, I don't know if it made a link because I didn't put HTTPS, but 90daysofmayhem.com. So if you go there, that's a statically generated site. And it's just so awesome. I'm kind of in love with Hugo. It's so great. And I know there's other ones too, like Jekyll, which I thought I confused in my head Jekyll and Jenkins, Jenkins, right? And it's like a software app building thing. And I thought, why would I use that to make a website? But Jenkins is something different. I just have never, no, Jenkins and Jekyll, see, I'm already confusing them, are different. I guess Jekyll is a static site generator. But anyway, yeah, I love Hugo, and I'm gonna have to make a video about it because it is so worth it. We talked about it on the podcast. So day 5's video, like if you go to that website, oh, you missed the desk video. That's on my other YouTube channel. Like it didn't seem to fit in my normal YouTube channel, Mason. So my apologies there. But anyway, so if you look at day 5, like that was after I recorded a podcast with just me and Catherine Druckman from the Reality 2.0 webcast or podcast, and that episode we talked about Hugo and a static site generator because it was just amazing. So if you missed that, I should probably put a link to the thing because now it is live. I will update the static link generated Hugo site with a link to that podcast episode that we had just finished recording when I convinced her to let me record the interface that they use to record their podcast. So anyway, use Hugo on a number of websites, including my blog. See, I didn't even know it was a thing. And I mean, you can hear me pontificate in the podcast if you listen to it because, oh my goodness, it is so amazing. I just love it so, so much. Yeah, I can't imagine starting another website without seriously contemplating using Hugo to generate it because it's so fast. It's just amazing. Anyway, I'm gonna get a link to that podcast because I'm just gonna start talking about it. She literally called the episode a folder full of HTML. Let's see, reality2cast.com, and I think it's posted live. Yeah, there we go. Here, I'm gonna post a. So this is the episode where we talked about it, about Hugo, and specifically, I did it for the 90daysofmayhem.com. Yeah, so the thing that makes it so awesome is there's no database. Oh my goodness. I hate having to install and maintain and secure and update and back up and make sure the backups are solid, all of that stuff with a database. And with Hugo, it's the entire site is rendered, and then you just get a folder full of HTML and host it out. And you can connect it part of the fully rendered HTML could point to like a third party comment system like Discuss. I think that's the name. Discus or Discuss, like that. That's just a comment thing. It's like a third party thing that you can attach, and it will allow you to have comments on a static site because the comments aren't hosted there. They're just the static site points to a link where the comments are generated. So that's actually pretty cool. Or you can host your own comment like stuff on a matrix server. There's just so much cool stuff. So anyway, I got down this rabbit hole because that's what I'm gonna have to like make some of those like one-off videos on the YouTube channel in the midst of the Linux Plus videos because some of that stuff is just too fun not to share. And I want to make a video while I'm still super stoked about it because otherwise, it's not as much fun. I mean, you want like super excited Sean who can't keep on topic talking about it instead of dry intellectual Sean who is just going to tell you how to do all the things. Yeah. I don't know why glasses would make me intellectual. I actually wore glasses for ever since I was 4 years old and finally had laser surgery. So now I can see without glasses, but then at nighttime, I can't see for crap. And I don't know if that's because I'm getting old or because I got the LASIK surgery or a combination of both. But anyway. Did you link to us the blogs that are running on Hugo? Yeah, it's so fast. I love how fast everything is too. Apparently this is an advertisement for the podcast episode. We talked about it. I actually considered, because I was so excited about Hugo, I thought, I could like convert my my entire blog to a Hugo statically generated site. That would be so great. I think that's too much work, especially since I host my podcast / blog, whatever you call it, where I read my blog posts and it's like, a podcast you can subscribe to. That would be complicated. And so I don't know that I would do that, but a project that I want to do this winter is to convert my comics website, which is currently hosted on WordPress. And I want to have that be a statically generated site. I think it's the perfect idea for Hugo. I cannot imagine like a better use case scenario. I just have to come up with how to do a random like link comic button, but I even have like notes for how other people have done that. So anyway, glasses make everyone smarter. So yeah, to be clear, these these don't have lenses on them. I popped the lenses out because they were making horrible reflections when I made the silly video to start 90 Days of Mayhem, and I was pretending to be Techno Tim. I was wearing these glasses, and probably somebody else. I don't know. These are actually from the Oatmeal, Beat the Blurch. I don't know if you can see those. Beat the Blurch, last year he did a virtual 5K, the oatmeal.com or just oatmeal.com. I don't know what his website is, but I popped out the lenses because they were reflecting terribly. I have these, I'm down a rabbit hole now. These are Gooder glasses. They're like designed to make screens like less something, less eye strain, maybe. I don't know, but look how bad they reflect. I mean, you can see all the lights in my office, and if I had anything on my screens that was interesting, you could see it. So I got the cheap sunglasses and popped them out for my video prop, which nobody asked me about, but apparently I'm comfortable sharing. To convert, I don't know. We'll see. The problem, so here, Lewis is talking about converting my blog and my, I also host my podcast version of my blog on WordPress on that same install. The problem is what are the aggregators? I don't even, like Spotify and Apple and Google. They are so incredibly finicky about your RSS feeds that I'm positive Hugo could build a valid RSS feed. But what I'm not confident about is that they would like pick up where they left off well. And that's a concern. So yeah, that I'm very frustrated with the podcasting world and how finicky RSS feeds are with all of that. But I might take you up on that. I don't know about moving I'm just going to assume that this was a general offer, because when it comes to moving my comic, I am going to have to export a whole bunch of stuff and figure things out. So yeah, if I do that one and it's successful, maybe I'll try to tackle the bigger blog. But I mean, my blog's been running since like 2005. There's so many blog posts, and most of them are broken now anyway, because I used to do video before it was cool. Not that my videos are cool now, but years and years ago, like back in the early 2000s, I would do videos and I would post them to sites that no longer exist. I mean, video hosting sites that I can't even think of their name anymore. But if you go to all those old blog posts of mine, they were like their embed code, and I should have hosted it locally. I should have made a statically generated website, but I didn't. I tried to use a third party, and yeah, so half my blog is broken anyway. Yeah, I don't really know what these do. I think they block blue light. Like the whole like blue light makes your eyes strain and you don't sleep well at night. That's kind of like the big thing where phones now kind of turn like an amber shade after a certain hour. I think that's what those glasses do. They were supposed to help with eye strain, but they're hard to see through for me. So I just like my eyes strained. Although I do have these on a separate switch now, so I can turn off these lights when I'm not live streaming. And part of me thinks dark mode Sean looks better than the full lighting. So I don't know what to think, but I don't know how I got there. Oh, you'll help make the big round world. Oh, okay. Well, that's what I'm going to take you. You all heard it, right? Lewis said he will probably help me convert that eventually. That's one of my winter projects is to get all that moved over. Let's see. Have I made a 3-tier web application for testing? SAP, DBMS. So you're starting to use things that I don't know what they mean. So maybe, but I may not have known I was doing these things. What is SAP? Yeah, clarify for me, Carl. And if you're thinking, wait a minute, aren't you the expert? Yeah, but I'm humble enough to say I don't even know what all this means. Italian, but not which experience the DBMS and 3-tier support. Yeah, I'm not sure what we mean by 3-tier website. So probably not. I don't know. All right. Yep. Lewis will do all the conversions. That's what I heard too. I mean, I'm basically just expecting to get an email with my new website. No, just kidding. Don't, because honestly, you probably could. Like, it's a website, you could probably pull all the stuff off. But don't do that, Lewis. Don't do that. Hugo is very much free. Yes, it is open source. It is. If you search for Hugo Static, it'll probably. Now you just know how my brain works. It's gohugo.io. I'll type that in. HTTPS gohugo.io. Oh, is it .com too? Because let's see. Oh, I see. That you are you trying to get me to buy that, Lewis? Because I don't have 15 grand. No, it's but yeah, gohugo.io. That's the website. Yes, it's completely free. It's free, it's open source, and there's a ton of really neat themes, but the initial learning curve, I'm not going to lie, it's kind of steep because it's not just like, oh, it works out of the box. You have to like install a theme and configure the like the config file. And I'll make a video on it before too long, just demonstrating like a simple, how to do a simple web page from it. But yeah, I just love it. I mean, there's no database. That's my favorite part. I don't have anything against databases, but if you don't need the things that WordPress offers, if you just need a site created and you can update it, I mean, you just like regenerate the site and post it. Oh, it's so nice. Yeah. Yeah, I will. I'm definitely going to make a video on getting a simple Hugo site up and running because it didn't, I mean, if you go to that, 90daysofmayhem.com, once I decided on Hugo, it probably took me 45 minutes to get that there. And then I, started figuring out like, okay, so how big do I have to make the thumbnail images and how do I just do the thumbnail images on the main page? Because if you click on the thumbnail image, it goes into a post and the post doesn't show the thumbnail. So it's very powerful and stuff, but I should definitely make a video because I didn't know about it. And thank you. So JPJ0, I don't want to say your name wrong, but yeah, so my hair is green. It's starting to come. I mean, it's getting thin on top regardless, but it is starting to grow out. But if you go to my blog, I blogged about why it's green. Actually, it's a long blog. It only touches on why it's green. But my daughter was treated poorly for having goofy colored hair, and so I colored mine in solidarity. But the secret is I actually really kind of like it this way, so I think I'm going to keep it. We'll see. If I can convince my wife, I'll just keep the green hair. Oh, hold on, Lewis. I don't know where to. Oh, so Lewis sent me a link in Discord. It's about just migrating WordPress to Hugo. Okay, that's pretty simple. That's pretty awesome. Let's see, Bash. What about a bash crypto with conditions if my coin goes to wow, I can't quite understand all the aspects of this question. And so I work on crypto servers. That's my day job. I manage cryptocurrency servers in multiple data centers. But I maybe that's why I have far less passion in crypto than I used to, because it's the daily grind now. Anyway, I don't want to poop on crypto. It pays my mortgage. So WordPress theme having issues with the theme. So this is a issue, again, a plug for the podcast episode that I linked earlier. The thing with WordPress is there's so many themes out there that they come in varying qualities, right? And sometimes editing them and keeping them up to date during upgrades is easy. Sometimes it's incredibly difficult. What I ended up doing, so if you go to brainofsean.com, just my regular blog, it is a theme called Generate Press. I think it's called Generate Press, but I had to pay for it. But I was kind of happy to pay for it because it just works. And, it doesn't flake out when you install an update. It's very simplistic. I really like simplistic websites, and it's very simplistic. It's a little ironic that I paid for the most simple looking theme I could imagine, but I did. So I like it. Yeah, I thought about purple. So I mean, everybody's pretty new to the me experience, but so I have a thing with pink, right? I wear pink hats. If I wear a hat, it's always a pink hat, and it makes some people uncomfortable. But I'm just trying to be me. And everybody who knows me was like, Sean, why didn't you just make it pink? But I'm going to show you. Do you want to see why I didn't do my hair pink? Because everybody who knows me is like, I assumed that you would dye your hair pink. I'll show you why I didn't. Hold on. Because when I have pink hair, I'm so pale that I just look sickly. Um, I don't, it doesn't, I don't feel it, man. I just think that, I think I need to go with a darker color. So maybe a dark purple would work, but definitely not pink. Yeah, definitely not pink. That's, I assumed it would be much better, but it's just, yeah. So anyway, WordPress gets hacked far too much. So Catherine, it's her podcast. The reality2cast.com is her podcast. It's not my podcast. And that's actually what sort of sparked her. She's the one who recommended Hugo to me in the first place. But the funny thing is she spun up a WordPress website. She works at Intel now, and she wanted to like update her personal website to reflect that, and et cetera, et cetera. And so she installed WordPress, and like she got a note like from the stats page or whatever the next day. Like there were like hundreds of people trying to log into her WordPress site, and she's like, oh, come on. I mean, that's such a pain. And that's again one of the beauties of a statically generated site is there's nothing to log into. It's just a folder full of HTML. In fact, I even disabled PHP on the virtual host that's hosting it because I don't need PHP anymore. It's just a folder full of HTML. So anyway, yeah, there's no login on Hugo because you generate just static HTML. So it's awesome. So the NES in the background. Okay. What time is it? Are we doing okay in time? We got about 8 minutes left. So we can nerd out a little bit about video games. The Nintendo that's actually there is a full-blown like original Nintendo. It has an upgraded like the thing you slide the cartridge into. I bought one that had that replaced because I didn't want the blinking screen thing. So anyway, but other than that, it's unmodified. But I have a Crix cartridge that takes a micro SD card or an SD card with all the original ROMs, and you can just drop that in, and then when you boot up the NES, you get a menu. What game do you want to play? And then it plays it on the original hardware. So it's not emulated at all. It's the original hardware, so it works, but it runs it from the ROM, which is fascinating. The only reason that I'm really bad at pointing when the camera's reversed, but the only reason I have the original Nintendo, though, is because I want to play Duck Hunt. And with Duck Hunt, you have to have a CRT television. And so I bought that. And then I have a 32-inch Sony Trinitron CRT television. It's actually in the bedroom next door. And I got that so that I could play Duck Hunt. And that's literally the only reason I have it. Because the mini NESs, like when Nintendo released those mini NES boxes, they are so incredibly awesome. And it's super simple to add any game to it that you want, even if it didn't come with the original, like whatever set they included. It's just so incredibly easy to add any games you want to the NES Mini that's the one if I play, and I don't play very often, I have to admit. Plus it has HDMI out, so that's convenient. But the original is just for Duck Hunt. So yeah. Could spin up a Docker container of just engine. Yeah. So so I'm gonna find a link to it. Dang it! I am, as much as I love Hugo. Do you know what I love even more than Hugo is? Well, I haven't known Hugo that long. Maybe I'll love Hugo that much too. If you look in my content, which is what I'm doing now, can I search? I can. So the web server that I use, why did it bring me to that? That's not what I wanted. Caddy. There it is. Oh my goodness, it's old. It's from over 2 years ago now. But this video, which I'm pasting in now, talks about Caddy, and Caddy is just the cat's meow. I love Caddy. I have a it's a Proxmox container. So it's not a Docker container. It's like you log into it. It's like it's container LXC container and Proxmox. Anyway, that I run Caddy on, and then I serve almost all of my websites go through Caddy as either the web server proper or as a reverse proxy to an internal like Docker container or something. It is so nice, and it just maintains everything on its own. Caddy is just so stinking awesome. One of my sites is powered from Cloudflare. Oh, so we talked about that in the podcast as well. Like some people actually just generate with Hugo and like host it on a GitHub, and that's like Git pages or whatever, and that's actually pretty cool. So yeah, Lewis knew what I was talking about. Talking about Caddy. I do. Caddy's just so awesome. I love it. All right, and have a great afternoon too. Thanks for stopping by. Sorry I didn't know more information for you. I apologize for that. But there are smarter people than me. They're in the Discord or, other places around. And they're kind. If they hang around me, they're generally pretty kind-hearted. So, yeah. I encourage you to stop by the Discord and ask questions. Maybe somebody will know. But anyway, what else is going on? It's almost time to quit. And I'm all excited now talking about Nintendo and web servers, which is a pretty nerdy list of things to be excited about. This is today's video. Next week is interesting. So there's probably going to be another building video, me building stuff poorly next week, because hold on. J. Sarko Discord. What was I going to say? Oh, my wife is gone next week. So my wife is at a book conference next week. She works at a bookstore. She's at a book conference next week, and I'm going to rebuild. Our bed frame is falling apart, and I'm going to just build a very simplistic bed frame while she's gone. And so I got to think that's going to take a huge amount of probably several days. So there'll be some video of me building again poorly. If you enjoyed me building my pretty cruddy workbench over there. So it'll be an interesting week. My wife is gone, so who knows what I'll get up to. But it should be fun. Let's see. Host all your sites from my data center. Yes, I do. I'm trying to think. All my sites? Pretty much all my sites, I think. Everything I can think of. I mean, I do have I have a VPS, virtual private server, just a really cheap one, like $3 a month. And I run Uptime Kuma on that so that I still get notified if my data center goes down. So, it was kind of like a chicken and egg thing. Who's going to notify me in the data center's down if the notification program is running in the data center? And so I have just a VPS that I run Uptime Kuma on that checks all of my things from the outside to make sure they're still running. Apart from that, pretty much everything is hosted at the data center. Yeah. Even my email, I have email server there. I have a secondary MX server in case my data center goes down so that my email will just kind of like pile up and wait for my main server to come online. But, yeah. Lewis, man, I wish I used metric, and that's true. I wish that we used metric here. I wish that I was taught metric as a kid, and, it's just so silly that we don't, but we don't. It's inches and pounds and miles and Fahrenheits for me. I know you're teasing me. Yeah. So, FreshPing. Is that just like an uptime monitor? FreshPing. So there's also a video. If you look on, apparently I'm just like referring everybody to my video collection on YouTube. But if you go look, if you go back, there's a video I did on Uptime Kuma. Uptime Kuma is like Uptime Robot. He made it in response to Uptime Robot, where it will check multiple things. Like it can check a port to see if a port's active. It'll ping. It actually it has other things that it checks. Like for example, I check for a keyword in the New York Times Wordle page, and if they change, then I have to change my local copy. But anyway, it's a powerful program. It's super cool, and it has all sorts of great notification things, including my favorite notification platform, which is Pushover, pushover.net. I think you do have to pay for it now. Like there used to be a free tier, but for like $5, I think for life you get a whole bunch of really great like several thousand notifications, which I don't need. So yeah, a combination of Uptime Kuma and pushover.net, chef's kiss. It's amazing. And that's what I use at work. You know, I have separate installs for work that do their thing, but I have my own install too, just to make sure that, you know, it monitors and then notifies me as well. So I see it's 4 o'clock. So I should wrap up. Make sure I got all the questions answered. Uptime Kuma. I do really like Uptime Kuma. Yeah, and so SMS, so it does have, I think that one has, it's like a gateway where it'll like email your phone provider and send an SMS, or possibly if you have like a subscription to a place where you pay for SMS. That's the reason I like pushover.net, is it does push notifications onto my mobile device as if it, you know, like a text would, but it allows for more flexibility. Like I can have one that dings even if the my phone is on silent, kind of thing. So I really like pushover.net. That's, if I had to, that would be a tough one for me to replace, because pushover.net does such a great and reliable, consistent job of push notifications to my mobile device. So anyway, it's 2100. Yeah. And I this seems like an okay time for most people, but it does get pretty late once you cross the pond. So I apologize to everybody who's it's pretty late for them. But anyway, 9 p.m. here. Yeah, it's 4 p.m. here. I know I talked about the trees, how gorgeous they are. My wife is done at work in an hour and a half, and I'm going to pick her up from work, and we are just going to go for a drive and take some I'll take some pictures. Oh, we'll get pictures of the trees. Maybe I'll bring my GoPro and get some footage and make it a video sometime this week. Hey, I got to come up with 7 of them this week. Anyway, yeah, squirrel. That's how it goes, man. Yeah, especially this time. So while we were recording, my watch buzzed and said, Sean, it's time to take your Adderall. So I didn't. So yeah, this is maybe it's an interesting time to do the live stream because I'm very distractible, even more so than normal. So anyway, on that note, it's after 4. So, hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I just love this live stream. And even if it would have been the side of the road, I still would have done it today, but I'm glad I got home in time. I'll come up with another assignment for next weekend, and hopefully it'll be enjoyable. I'm always up for suggestions and recommendations, and I know a couple of you have actually sent me some thoughts and recommendations. I appreciate that. So anyway, go to 90daysofmayhem.com if you want to follow like all the videos that I do every day. I mean, I'll post wherever the video is for that day there. Sometimes it'll be like on TikTok, sometimes it's on my alternate YouTube channel, but I always post whatever I'm doing for that day on that Hugo-powered website. On that note, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you online or in the Discord, or I mean, if you're one of my kids watching this, I'll like see you downstairs. Talk to everybody later. And now is that awkward time where I have to figure out how to stop the stream as I look around my screen. So I guess I'll do this. All right, bye everybody. Oh, and now do I really want to stop the stream? Yes, I do. Goodbye.